We have already covered the more established masteries in Rune and Earth, placing them in S and A tier respectively. With the Hunting Mastery, we now have an approach which was not tested in a glitchless speedrun setting before. For speedruns, it is generally better to rely on damage sources from your skill tree and not count too much on your main weapon, and that is because of two reasons. One, it is more consistent. You won't always find a good weapon, but you will be able to unlock the same skills. And two, in the later stages of a speedrun, you will be extremely underleveled. That means you can't use the equipment that would be appropriate for the later areas. And while you also can't unlock as many skills as you normally would, as long as you mainly focus on one ability, you can still get a high damage output. That being said, there aren't too many sources of flat damage in the Hunting Mastery, but you will see how we tackle the speedrun. For the Hunting Mastery, it is beneficial to buy a cheap throwing weapon, because their attack speed is faster than the speed of bows. We again skip the skills on the first tier of the skill tree. I want to put my points into Marksmanship, which gives flat damage to every auto attack. So on level 3, we unlock the stage 2 Marksmanship, can equip a Pine Lego Bolon and put a Shard of Achilles Valor on it. We reach level 4 before Nessus, so the Marksmanship is now at stage 5. This gives us 20 piercing damage on every auto attack. With that, the fight against the Centaur takes about half a minute. It is a bit unfortunate that we didn't find Boots of Travel in Sparta, but a Centaur Trapper in the Spartan Highlands wears an Outrider's tunic. 9% movement speed this early. Incredibly lucky. And I have to warn you, this run will only get more disgusting. We can also replace the Lagobolon with a Smoldering Throwing Knife, which deals more damage and also attacks faster. Just before Megara we meet this group of Ichthyians. One of them carries the Frostbite. Not great for a hunting character, but we'll take with 10,000 gold. We also buy Greaves of Travel in Megara, another 10% bonus on movement speed. 15 if you add the one Hermes' sandal we found earlier. I then decided to take on the Cyclops. It is a small time loss in exchange for some experience and the chance to get better gear. And without giving too much of a spoiler, the light crude buckler we get here will actually play a role later in this run. In the Helicos Valley we get our first setback. I get caught by a Centaur Trapper and die almost instantly to the swarm of monsters that surrounds me. In Delphi we take the opportunity to get the Valor of Achilles out of the old Lego Bolon and put it into the throwing knife. For the fight against the Gorgons, I really want to be level 8. That gives us full marksmanship, 1 point in the Art of the Hunt and 5 points into Woodlaw. We again use a Scroll of Arcane Power for this fight and attack Uriel first. And yes, you did see this correctly, Uriel dropped Stonebinder's Cuffs. The only issue? We need 127 dexterity for them, and we are currently at 89. We then single out Medusa and finish Steno last. But back to the Stonebinder's Cuffs. +1 to our skills, huge bonus for this run. With the light crude buckler that we got from the Cyclops, the dexterity requirement goes down to 114. I'll tell you when we get there. It's not for the Alistair fight. We reach level 9 in the Catacombs, but still need 11 additional dexterity for the cuffs. One thing that bugs me is that I did not have a Scroll of Arcane Power for this fight. The additional elemental damage would have made this fight much quicker. Without the scroll, this fight almost takes 2 minutes. Yikes. With the next level up, we finally have enough dexterity to equip the Stonebinder's Cuffs. And from a random Gorgon in the Labyrinth, we get a Stonebinder's Crown. Doesn't really do too much, but we didn't have any headgear yet. And I think it's noteworthy that we found 3 monster infrequents in this run in Greece alone. The old Minotaur is up next, and I think you already know how I fight him. Big old blade trap. The statues before the Telkin take a lot of time, almost a full minute. The fight against the Telkin itself is really simple. You see me closing the distance between myself and the Telkin, that is to make it interrupt its animation from time to time. Other than that, there's not much to say about this fight. However, the loot. Oh, the loot. The Paean. Adds flat damage and gives strength, dexterity and health as well. We take those. Against the Scarab, I tried to use another Scroll of the Breaking Wheel, and it doesn't really do too much. But that's fine, because our damage output is good enough, and with a few quick maneuvers, we dodge the poison shotgun and take down the Scarab. Next up is the Ancient Scorpus, who deals next to no damage. We can easily out-heal his attacks and take him down rather quickly. On level 11 we unlock the Call of the Hunt, a nice damage boosting ability for boss fights. Imhotep then decides that we should probably use a robust Ring of Strength in this run. Thank you, old man. Once we get to level 15 we'll use that one. But there is some more sandy business to take care of. In the Sphinx we carefully fight the walking stones one after another, once again aided by a Scroll of Arcane Power. It is still a very long fight, takes almost 2.5 minutes. Doesn't matter. We get the Hand of Balance, and a Grim Hungermonger of Frost. Good weapon. At the Temple of Atum we once again have a very short fight against Nehebkau. I'm slowly losing all my respect for this poor guy. And then it is Telkin time again. This fight is rarely a challenge, and the hunting character has no issues here either. It isn't even that slow. Same thing with the Sand Wraith Lord. I've got to say, this hunting character surprises me a lot. Yes, we get a ton of defensive ability from the Woodlaw, but I did not think we'd tank bosses in Act 2 this easily. With the level up to level 13 we get access to Study Prey. That skill lowers the physical and pierce resistance of our enemies, raising our own damage output even further. We also unlock the takedown skill, a dash, which we can definitely use during the long way to Chang'an. The Chimera can be dangerous if you get hit by a Frost Trap and the Fire Breath at the same time. I decided to take out the first 2 traps before tackling the mythical creature. As long as we dodge most of the Fire Breaths, we can easily take it out with the standard Marksmanship attacks. In the Yin Yang Woods we teach an old warrior a tiny lesson in despair. 10 seconds, I think it was worth it. Because that means that we reach level 14 from the Hermit Mage quest. And I use the 3 skill points to diversify my portfolio of skills, unlocking the Scattershot arrows, the Gouge, and increasing Study Prey to stage 3. With the Stone Miner's Cuffs it definitely makes sense to unlock more skills, but I don't know if I would have gone for the Gouge skill without them. Doesn't matter. Demon Bull is up next. And we get a very good Blade Trap up. The trap takes the Jaguar down to almost half health on its own. The Shadow Stalkers that the Bull summons have the potential to knock us down, so I am extra careful once they appear. The rest of the fight goes according to plan, dodging the stronger attacks of the Bull while dealing damage whenever we get the chance to do that. Then it's off to the Vuzal. The third Telkin tries to torment us once again, and I am careful with his smaller summons and prioritize them as soon as they appear. The Scroll of Arcane Power again provides a little support during this fight. We try to dodge the Telkin's attacks as good as possible and kill it without getting into too much trouble. Last section, Lower Olympus. And I somehow managed to get through to the Rebirth Fountain. A quick restart gets rid of the imminent threat, and we can march towards Typhon. By the way, the game plan for Typhon: dodge the attacks, study prey, stop attacking whenever he can use his life leech, so that he doesn't even get the chance to heal back up. And oh boy, am I proud of what I did here. With the quickest feet in all of Greece, I avoid every single life leech. And some pattern recognition also helps. I guess I could have been a bit more aggressive, but for me, the main priority was not getting hit by the life leech. And after 6.5 minutes, Typhon finally goes down. We end the hunting run with a time of 1 hour, 30 minutes and 25 seconds. So where do I put the hunting mastery? Into C tier. It performed well because we had good equipment. we have good movement speed, the payan for damage, and oh yeah, the fucking Stonebinder's cuffs. +1 to all skills in a speedrun is crazy. And this run was still extremely difficult in the later stages. Fighting Typhon with your thrown weapon standard attacks for over 6 minutes without getting hit by its life leech is not easy. And after saying all this, I would still highly recommend trying a hunting run on your own. It is a challenging and very interesting run, which gives you a great feeling once you finish it. Next up, nature.